Well, welcome back, everyone. And you know what? It's the holidays. I can't even believe we're talking about the holidays. And even though it's the holidays, it's still hot. And a lot of us have our air conditionings on. And I know that Solar Sandy's probably in her car right now driving in, so she's listening to me talk about her. So I bet you her ears are ringing. How's that? That was kind of funny. So we're live on Facebook, so when Solar Sandy gets here, which everyone I know, you've heard her talk a lot on my show, but I have to tell you, she's just walking in. Were your ears ringing? I was just talking about you, Solar Sandy. Welcome back to the show. You have got to tell everyone, first of all, you look fantastic. I can't stand you.
I love you too.
Thank you. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and, why you're on such a mission.
Carol, I've been on a mission now for almost 4 years, but it started a little over 5 years ago when my daughter sent me her power bill and said, Mom, I can't afford to pay it. And I said, guess what, Chelsea? Neither can I. It was over $500. And I didn't know anything about solar at the time. I was just a mom and a grandma trying to help my daughter with a bill she was always going to have. And so I started looking on the internet on lowering electric costs. And there was LED lights. No, that was going to help her as much as I needed to. I'm out of breath because I was running. And so, and then super cooling, and no, that wasn't going to work. So then I came across solar, and it was producing her own power on her own roof and paying less than the power company was charging her. And so that started making sense to me. So at that time, I called a couple of different companies, and as nice as these young men were, they didn't answer the questions quite the way that I was comfortable with, or for my daughter's home and my grandchildren's home. And so I started reading, and I went back to just basic common sense, and I created a formula for my own daughter based on mathematics, arithmetic. How much power did she need and how much did she use over the last 12 months? So I wrote that down on a pad of paper. Then how much power, she was still going to need power from the power company at nighttime when the sun went down, the panels weren't going to be producing any electricity. So how much would that be? And what was the optimal plan for her to be on with producing her own power? So I figured all that out. So I created what's called now the kilowatt worksheet on a yellow pad of paper. And I did it backwards and forwards. And the reason that I was so sure of myself was back when I was a nurse. Before we administered medication to a patient, we had to know their weight. There was no smartphones back then. I'm 57. So we had a piece of paper and we did it long division. So the height, the weight, and the body mass of our patient before we administered medication to double check that we were giving the right dosage. So this is how I created this formula for Chelsea. And I checked those numbers. I checked them twice. I checked them a dozen times.
Just like Santa.
Just kind of like Santa, but now Solar Sandy. So I told the first two, what I wanted. They kind of argued a little bit with me. Not argued, but kind of were like, well, they knew more than I did. I said, no, my math is right, and this is the way I want it done. So I disqualified them. The third fellow said, well, I've never done it this way. And I said, no, probably not, because you're not a mom and a grandma, that if this doesn't work, I can't afford to pay my daughter's power bill. So this is why I've got it this way. So he said, okay, and he did it the way that I asked him to. And sure enough, when the panels were installed on her roof, my formula worked even better than we had anticipated. And she was like, Mom, she goes, I had a bad accident. That's why I couldn't help my daughter pay her power bill. I had a bad accident. I was on a fixed income Social Security disability, and I could not afford to help my daughter pay her power bill. And so, she said, Mom, if it wasn't for you answering all the questions as thoroughly as you did, I don't think I would have done it, no matter, what somebody had told me. So there's a lot of people that may have had people knock at their door, or phone calls or emails, or they may have gone online to look because their electric costs have gone up so dramatically this year, and they're looking for a solution to lower their power bills, and they've held off. Well, I'm glad that they have, because now is the perfect time to do it. And I'll tell you why. APS still has the buyback. They have buyback of your extra power that you're creating up on your roof, and they're buying it for almost 11.6 cents per kilowatt. So what my formula is for my daughter is the same formula that I use for all of my families that I work with. Give them all the power they need, their daytime power, their nighttime power, and a smidge more. So that there's two reasons to do this. Number one is absolutely the savings. If you're working with me, your power cost per kilowatt is between 7.5 and 8.5 cents per kilowatt. I ask everyone to go look at your rate plan that you're on. APS SRP, there is no rate plan that you are on guaranteeing your power at between 7.5 and 8.5 cents. There's no rate plan with those costs. And that you're locked into those rates for the next 25, 30 years. Producing it on your roof, you now have locked in your cost per kilowatt. If APS and SRP want to raise the rates once a week from the rest of our lives, it's not going to affect you anymore because you are producing your own power on your roof. And I mean, like I said, Carol, I'm just a mom and a grandma that's a true life story that I had to figure out a solution for my own daughter because her bill was over $500.
But here's too what you've done is that when you did it, you said to yourself, this is the story that I know from you, is that you knew that other people were going to need this. It made sense. And so
we all use electricity.
So you decided to get the word out and sort of become an expert in, you are not, explain to them how you work, because you don't work, how do I say this? You're an independent.
I do my best work for my families. I don't work for anybody except for my families. I am there to educate and inform my families, and when I go into their household, of what their options are. You know, there's kids that knock on your door, and as nice as they are, God bless them, a lot of them do not know, they have not taken the time to understand how this works. My daughter almost ended up being a bad solar story. We've all heard them. We have family, neighbors, friends, and we might have almost been a bad solar story. Something just didn't add up. Something just didn't feel right. When you ask the question of somebody that was in your home, well, that almost happened to my daughter, and that's what put me on my mission, Carol. I am extremely passionate about this. This is the second highest expense we will have in our lifetime next to our houses, our mortgage, and then our power. So there's no money to get started. People go, well, how will I afford to do this? There is no money out of pocket. If you have good credit, 650 or better, you can go solar. I can help just about everybody. So, you know, and even people who are struggling with their credit, there's a way around that as well. So I've helped a lot of families that said, oh, no, I didn't pass credit. Call me because I can help you. So I'm just saying, this is a bill that we all have to pay, and this is a really good time to listen. If you are on budget billing, APS or SRP, but specifically APS this year, APS just had a huge increase. May 1st, the new rate plans went into effect. So we haven't had a full 12 months worth of, what APS does is they take a year worth of your usage and your bills, and they divide it by 12, and they give you an equal amount that you pay monthly. Well, this year, we've only had 6 months under the new rate plans. People who are on budget billing are just going to start seeing, if you haven't already got it already, be watching for it, because I just had a lady the other day who got a $900 settle-up bill. She said, well, gee, my equal pay didn't go up, Sandy. And I go, it did, and they just didn't adjust it, and you're going to be in for a huge surprise. If you don't pay that settle-up amount by the end of December, they'll pull you off budget billing, equal pay, because you're supposed to pay the equal amount of the electricity or the dollar amount that you were using the electricity, but they don't have 12 months under this new rate plan. So a lot of people are underpaying for the power that they're currently using on the new rate plan that they're on. So I want anybody who's on budget billing to know, I can help you. Your budget billing will be locked in for the next 20 years and it will never go up. There will be no settle-up amount. You'll be paying between 7.5 and 8.5 cents per kilowatt. And my APS families, there is still the buyback. Any extra power that you're creating up on that roof, APS is buying it back. You're going to end up with a monetary credit. Carol, good girl, you got the bills pulled out. Because my families don't end up, they'll have a statement from APS, but they won't owe a monthly amount to APS. So I zero out their APS bill, and at the end of this year, next month, there's going to be lots of happy people getting checks back from APS.
Let me tell you, guys, it's negative $394.18 on this one little one here. It's negative $508.34. We're not talking about a $24 little, change here. This is good money. And so your roof is going to be making money for you, and that's what she's been talking about.
It's paying your power bill, and at the end of the year, you're going to get a check back from APS.
Now, you got to check her out. It's AskSolarSandy.com. You can also call her direct. Her number is 623-850-8229. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further. Welcome back, everyone. Yes, we are talking to Solar Sandy. Yes, she's here back. But she is back because she has been on a mission, and you've been on every show, my show, every show.
I had a fellow call me today, and he said, Sandy, I've been listening to you for almost a year. No,
how come you guys are such procrastinators out there?
But here's the thing. He'd already gone solar with another company, but he had questions for me, and he just said, you make so much more sense than a lot of these. And I'm not throwing anybody else under the bus, Carol. I'm just talking from personal experience of what almost happened to my daughter, and her imploring me, Mom, you need to do this so that more people can be educated, informed, to do this the proper way, because if you don't do it the right way, it can go
haywire. Well, here's the thing, too, about you. Because, number one, you were a nurse, so you are a caring person.
I love what I do, and I really love the people that I do it for.
Right.
And sometimes it doesn't take just them hearing me once. Sometimes it takes them hearing me a couple of times. When I say certain things...
And you're not bothered by that. That's what's so cool.
No.
Annie, you can ask her a million times.
Right. So about the equal pay, when people hear just something that they, that's me, and then they go, it's time to call Solar Sandy. This summer, people saw their bills going up quite dramatically because of these new rate plans. And like I said, we haven't even had a full year of the new rate plans, and people are seeing, oh my gosh, my bill that was $250 went up to almost $400. Some people's bills went up to almost $500, depending on which rate plan either you chose or APS chose for you. Get with me so I can explain the difference in these rate plans. There's no good rate plan with APS. There truly is not. But when you pair it with producing your own power on your own roof, you're paying between 7.5 and 8.5 cents per kilowatt for your power from this day forward, and your roof's paying your power bill, the portion that you still are using from APS at nighttime. When the sun goes down, you're still going to use some of their power. So if you're on the right rate plan, the right amount of solar panels on your roof, producing the right number of kilowatts with the Smart Energy Manager, the right rate plan, this can be so good for so many people. But it just takes them just hearing just the right thing. And when I go out to see my families, I'm not in any rush. I'm there to answer their questions and spend as much time with them as they need, and then let them make the decision. Do they want to continue kind of renting their power? They are renting their power from APS and SRP, or do they want to know what they're paying for the remainder with no power price increase?
Here's what I also know about you is that it's not like you want to teach them. It's an education, first of all, to know how to read your bill. They know that you don't know how to read it. Most people don't. So you're going to teach them, first of all, what everything is. And you know what? You're the first person to say, if it's not right for you, You don't have to do it. You're fine with that. You'll be the first one to tell them if it's not right.
Exactly.
But you do a free consultation. You go valley-wide.
I do.
And I know.
High and low and to and fro I go.
But you are
do.
there to help them and to understand. So you want to call her direct. Her phone number is 623-850-8229. I've said this a million times, and I'm going to say it again. If you've heard Solar Sandy and you haven't called her, call her. She's here to talk to you because you know what? Something changes every single day when it comes to this.
I'm telling you, Carol, so as wise as it was to go solar 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, there was nothing wrong with it. But it has changed dramatically. So maybe you sat down with somebody 2 years ago and you said, oh, this just doesn't make any sense. It has changed because of these APS rate plans changing. And I want to let everybody know in SRP, we are in for another rate increase too. There hasn't been a large rate increase in SRP for a long time, but there's going to be. So call me. It makes sense. APS has the buyback. SRP no longer has the buyback. So I tell my APS families, don't wait till what happened in SRP happens. Do it now. And if you do it now, work with me now, very likely you're going to get installed before the end of this year, and you'll get a very large federal tax credit. That tax credit is often over $10,000, and a lot of people don't even realize what it is. It is a refund into your pocket. You get it's usually, like I said, usually over $10,000 and $1,000 back from the state. So there's many reasons to do this now. Like I said, if you're on budget billing, you very well could see, or you might not see it. If you're on auto pay, they may sneak it in there that they take it $800 or $900 or $1,000. You never know what it could be. Lois, this lady that I saw, hers was $900, but you have to pay your settle up amount before December 31st, or they'll take you off budget billing. And if you don't pay it, they'll shut your power off.
Now, the phone number to call her direct, it's 623-850-8229. Her website is AskSolarSandy.com. You want to make sure you go to AskSolarSandy.com. Also, we want you to know that if you haven't heard her before, call her. This is what this show is all about. It's information for you guys. That's all it is. And if you have, I don't care how many times you've heard these people, we know that you have to hear something almost 7 times before you even think that you heard it.
Right.
It's amazing about people out there, but that's the way you guys are. But there's a reason why they're out. There's a reason why you come on. You've helped a lot of people out there.
I have
a lot.
I have, Carol, and it's like you said, information changes, not quite daily, but quite frequently. And if you don't have the right information with, like I said, the right amount of panels producing the right amount of power, your daytime power, your nighttime power, and being on the right rate plan, it could be something that it could be a very negative experience. It almost happened to my daughter had I not sat down and created this formula for her. And I'm not trying, like I said, not trying to throw anybody else under the bus. Some of these people that are knocking on doors are very, very nice, but they don't have all the information that
not that you have.
Not that I have.
That's the secret sauce.
That's the secret sauce, Carol. Thank you. Because I say that there's a lot of companies out there that can make hamburgers. There's only one that has the secret sauce, and I don't ever want to. I'm very humbled because I've taken a lot of time to study and learn.
That's what it is. It's about the educational part that this. When you, Brett, mentioned negative, that people have had these negative situations that have happened, but wouldn't you like to have a negative on your bill because it's going towards the next one and the next one, and then at the end of the year,
they get a check back.
You get a check back for, could be however much. It doesn't
$1,200, $1,800. I've got families that are getting checks for well over $1,000 this December. What a nice celebration. Rather than you owing $800 or $900 to APS, APS owes you, the way that my formula works, it usually is $1,200 or more.
Wow.
So that's $100 off what your cost of your power would be anyways. $1,200 divided by 12 is $100 off your power costs. So I say to people I can save them at least $100 a month off their power bills, Carol, very easily. They're not going to have an APS amount owed. They're going to get $1,200 to $1,800 back from APS. So that's about $100 a month off their power costs that they're paying now.
Well, let's tell them what to do. They need to go up on your
Go
website.
fill my kilowatt worksheet out. It's the one that I did for my daughter on a yellow pad of paper. Go on my website. It's very easy to do. You're going to put your last 12 months worth of usage from October of 2017 to September of 2018. I need those summer months to make sure that I've got a solar system, a solar saving proposal that's going to give you the right amount of power. That's the key. And then myself or Amber, my little gal that helps me set appointments when I'm on appointments. I can't be answering phones all the time. I answer my calls as often as I can. I love talking to my families, Carol. I love what I do. I love the people that I do it for. I'm here to, like you said, educate and give people good, solid information. The fellow that had the solar system on his roof, they've just built a casita. They don't have enough power. So I'm going to probably be adding more panels to his system and a couple of other things, making sure he's on the right rate plan, etc. So I'm really here to help as many people as I can. People who are still not doing anything, producing their own power, those are the people I want to focus on, but I help a lot of people just by answering their questions.
Well, that's what it's all about, learning and finding out whether it's right. And you can talk to her as many times as you want. She's valley-wide, and she works for you. That's what she does. She works for you, and she's going to show you how to save money. We haven't even said this today, but how to save money on a bill that you pay
way too much money
on. And, you know, we've talked a lot about this, and you could say to yourself, oh, my God, you know, Solar Sandy, I can only tell you that I know there's a lot of people out there that are thrilled to be able to save some money because they pay out. We know how the cost of living is just so crazily high. And being able to have a bill of, when I see these negative 394s or 500, or some of them are even higher than that.
This really gives me such joy because when this person called me, he said, this is in the heat of July. He said, does APS really owe me $508? I go, yeah, they're going to owe you about $1,800 by the end of the year. He said, really? I said, yeah, it's the way that I designed your system. It's the formula that I created a little over 5 years ago now for my own daughter, and it's why I do what I do. It's because I created a formula that I've used for my own daughter. I have solar on my own home, and I've helped well over 300 families produce their own power and pay less for it.
The number to call her direct, it is, what is it, 623, where it is? 623-850-8229. So 623-850-8229. She's valley-wide. She loves to help people out there. Call her and let her talk to you. Let her educate you on why all of this is happening to you in the first place, how to read your bills, and how to pay less money on a bill that you're paying way too much money on. Check her out and fill out that kilowatt worksheet. It's AskSolarSandy.com, and give her a call. I don't care how many times you've heard her. Give her a call. It is area code 623-850-8229. It's AskSolarSandy.com.
But you should be my